Well, hello everyone. This is Raquel, and I want to welcome you. Today is January 28th of 2023, and we are experiencing some really interesting things as the world continues to respond to all of the shifts that are happening in the magnetics of the planet. It has been a interesting ride, I would definitely say. Um, the first month of this beautiful 2023. And we are sitting on the last of the 1-1 portal as we kind of step into the energy of this year. The first several weeks of January have been almost like being on pause for a lot of us energetically. And there has been so much that has been happening to recalibrate our own magnetics within our physical body as we continue to stay aligned. I guess that's the word I would use with the shifts that are happening on the planet. And many of you have reached out talking about the shifts in the way you're perceiving time. Time has either really sped up or really slowed down, and that can shift in a nanosecond. We can have a day that feels like 20, and then a day that feels like we just went through 10 minutes and it was gone. And there's a lot that is happening to work with our own brain, our own nervous system, as we continue to recalibrate from the binary that is being dismantled and the Triwave that is coming online. And this is not a one flip, switch flip. This is not okay, let's just turn it over. Sometimes I wish it was like Greenwich time on December 31st, 1999, when we went through that shift into the 2000s. And it was a flip of the switch. That is not how the magnetics of the planet are switching over. It is a step-by-step process. And as we continue to align, as we continue to shift the body magnetics, the nervous system, the brain functionality, and everything else in our bodies, we are really ahead of most of humanity in being able to navigate the higher Triwave magnetic. But rest assured, there are a lot of really unique and interesting experiences that we are having as we continue to make the switch, if you will. And I know that many of you have been experiencing more headaches, interesting pains, or really unique feelings within certain parts of the body that you would normally never feel anything in, right? And this is all part of the transition as we continue at a molecular, at a particle, antiparticle, at a very physical level to make the shift in the transition within the human form. And so a lot of us are really noticing some pretty interesting changes in the body, interesting ways of perceiving. I have personally gone through a very massive timeline shift, the kind where you watch people in front of you change clothes because they're still in the timeline, but it's slightly different. I know many of you have experienced things like that where you really do have a very profound, noticeable experience of shifting timelines. And that is happening quite rapidly right now, as many more of what we would consider timelines or strings, if you will, continue to collapse, continue to, um, some of them are collapsing, some of them are merging, some of them are really kind of wobbly as we continue to align from the binary up into the triwave. And so many of you may be experiencing things happening over and over in the same, 10-minute span, where you're noticing, wow, didn't that just happen? Almost like the glitch in the Matrix and the deja vu. Wow, wait a minute. Didn't that just happen? Didn't I just watch that? And seeing that in real time over and over. And yes, it is a glitch in the system, quite frankly, as we continue to unravel from the Matrix, the binary, the old magnetics playing out. And just to be aware that it is very real, what is happening, those glitches in our experience, those deja vus, or even when you just sit here going, man, am I in the Twilight Zone? Everything just feels different than what it did even 30 seconds ago. And these are the experiences that will continue to help us realign, help us understand that it is a truly physical change that is happening, and to help us remember that we are building that bridge for humanity. We are the ones who said, yes, we'll come in and we will go through the process of ascension, the process of the evolution and the change that is required. We will lead the way. And so just remember that as you continue to have these unique, strange, unexplained experiences in the outer reality. And I do call them glitches because they are a reset into a higher timeline. And if you ever get the opportunity to actually witness a timeline shift while you're awake, while you're out in public, and can actually see the people around you change. For me, I always seem to notice the change in clothing. Usually it's the same people, they're just wearing different things because it's all overlaid and it's just shifted from one timeline to another. So it's really if you approach it in a way that really is more of a fascination of how beautifully you are able to see and experience real time shifts in the magnetics and the timelines. And just remember that as we go through this, if there is anything that just feels really off, that your high heart, coming into your high heart, is always the road back into higher frequencies and higher levels of consciousness. And so oftentimes when we are experiencing these fluctuations, these shifts or collapsing in the outer reality, it can play with the ego. It can make you question and kind of feel weird even. Your body actually responds. And the way to really come back into the highest alignment is always, always, always to ground back into the high heart, to breathe through it and recognize how your body, your nervous system, your brain is literally going through a transformation, a shift to be able to operate within those higher magnetic structures, the Triwave, that we are piece by piece anchoring through us and embodying through us. And so you may have several more, especially this year, throughout this entire year. We continue to accelerate the way in which the Triwave magnetic is anchoring through us and onto the planet. Um, and just to be aware of that and be open to seeing more of the true transformation, seeing more of those timelines collapsing or things really shifting right before your eyes. This has been really an interesting start to 2023. There has been a lot of what I would refer to as pushback of the changes that are happening. We've seen, well, there always seems to be a lot going on in the world stage, but there has been a lot that has happened um, that I feel is really a direct correlation to the grids and the magnetics that are collapsing. Because as we do this, the old regimen, if you will, continues to try and maintain control. And as we continue to unlock everything and move into higher frequencies, it feels more extreme what is happening, because it is almost an extreme pushback that we see from the magnetics that are collapsing. So just stay in awareness of that when we see heightened or what we would refer to as more of an accelerated collapsing pushback. Just remember to stay in your heart. There is a lot of pushback that is happening, and it will continue. This is not a one and done. This is a process that we are going through, and the pushback is real. But as we continue to operate in the higher magnetics, as we continue to anchor through us those higher grid systems and magnetics, and as we continue to transform within the physical, the meaning, the nervous system, the brain, the blood, everything that is actually shifting within the physicality, we are able to maintain experiences within the Triwave much easier and with much more ease as we actually anchor it into the reality. And so just keep that in your awareness as we move forward in this beautiful energy of 2023. It is continuing to push us forward in what many refer to as the bifurcation, the descending hubs versus the ascending hubs, locations on the planet. And so, again, many of you may be feeling another wave of, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to move. I'm being called somewhere else. I'm noticing that is starting to show up for a lot of people as well, as many will get called or drawn to new locations. And so if that's coming up for you, just recognize that as a forerunner, many of us will be called to new locations as we gather in strength in locations on the planet that are aligned with the new magnetic, that actually will support our physicality, our body, in the shifts and changes that are coming. And I didn't even realize I was going to speak about that right now. So that must be up for a few of you. Feeling that urge once again. I know there was a big wave of that last year that kind of fizzled for many of us. but that may be coming back. So pay attention and recognize that we will be gathering in locations much more in the years to come. Physical moves, literally, of bringing core groups together. And so just be aware of that and be open to that level of change coming. Whew, didn't see that one coming through the waves right now. But just breathe all of that in and know that the more you go with the flow and the more you stay out of resistance of, well, wait, I can't, what the ego takes over. Wait, I can't do that. What if I can't? All of that the ego tries to bring up the minute change is discussed or brought up. Just stay in your heart and recognize the least amount of resistance will bring you the most simple path.